You know that feeling, right? You walk away from a conversation and you just feel empty, wiped out, as if something invisible just reached in and pulled the plug. Well, let's get into that because it's not just a feeling, it's a real, measurable drain on your energy.
I mean, you know the one. You just poured out your time, your focus, your best advice. The other person walks away, probably feeling great, but you feel like a phone battery that's just been completely zapped.
And we have to be really clear about this. This isn't that good kind of tired you get after a great workout or a really productive day. No, no, no. This is something totally different.
Yeah, it's that deep in your bones kind of exhaustion. A feeling that your actual capacity, your ability to do things, has been shrunk. And if we don't figure out where that leak is coming from, it can seriously cost us.
To really wrap our heads around this, let's look at the story of a guy named Daniel Chin. He's a software engineer, 34 years old, and by all accounts, he was absolutely crushing it. A top performer at work, healthy, happy. And then, things just started to fall apart.
And the change was fast and it was brutal. It all starts when a new coworker, Marcus, joins his team. Just 6 months later, Daniel's productivity tanks by 40%. Then his sleep goes out the window. Pretty soon he stops going to the gym altogether. He had no idea what was wrong with him.
And this, right here, this is the turning point. Daniel's in therapy and he has this massive aha moment. The problem wasn't him. It wasn't burnout or some personal failing. The source was outside of him. He wasn't broken. He was actively being drained by someone else.
And here's the thing, Daniel's story isn't some one-off, not at all. He was dealing with one major drain. But research by Dr. Judith Orloff found that the average person has at least 3 of these draining interactions every single day. Most of us just don't see them for what they are. So, let's learn how to spot them. So this drain, it's not random. It actually shows up in really predictable ways. Psychologists have all these archetypes, but we're going to focus on the 3 big ones you're most likely to run into. And let's just call them what they are: energy vampires. So first up, we have the victim. This person, they're just stuck in a loop of woe is me. And here's the dead giveaway. You offer solutions, you try to help, and they shoot down every single idea. Why? Because they don't want a solution. They want to keep you hooked on their endless drama.
Sound familiar? The story is always the same. They're totally powerless, and the entire world is out to get them. And by listening, you're not actually helping them. You're just giving them an audience for a play that's never, ever gonna end.
Now check this out because this is where it gets really fascinating. This isn't just an emotional thing. It's physiological. It's happening in your body. A study found that just 30 minutes, 30, with a chronic complainer makes your body's stress hormone, cortisol, spike. One phone call can literally ruin your entire afternoon.
Okay, our second type is a little more surgical. This is the guilt tripper. Their primary tool is manipulation. They figured out that making you feel bad is the quickest way to get you to do what they want. So they are masters at making you feel like you owe them something.
Oh man, that's a classic right there.
It is a masterpiece of passive aggression, and it's designed to make you feel like the bad guy. It's what Dr. Robert Cialdini calls a reciprocity trap. They create this feeling of obligation out of thin air, and every time you fall for it, you just teach them to do it again.
And finally, we have the drama magnet. For this person, everything is a 5-alarm fire. Everything is a crisis. They feed on chaos, and your big emotional reaction is basically their lunch. The real danger here is their constant state of alarm can actually hijack your own nervous system.
The science on this is pretty wild. It's called emotional contagion. Basically, our brains have these things called mirror neurons, so we subconsciously start to feel the emotions of people around us. And guess what? Research shows that negative emotions are way stickier and more contagious than positive ones. So you walk away from a drama magnet feeling all anxious, and you might not even know why. Okay, so we've named the problem, we've met the culprits, but just knowing who they are is only half the battle, right? Now let's talk about the good stuff, building your self-defense toolkit. These are real, practical things you can start doing today. The first tool is something called named clarity. Just look at the difference here. When you give a weak, vague excuse, you're basically inviting them to negotiate. But a clear, calm, I can't do that, that's a complete sentence. It's not mean, it's clear, it respects your energy, and frankly, it respects their time too. But how do you actually find the space to say that in the heat of the moment? That's where the STOP technique is gold. Before you get sucked into their drama or their guilt trip, you just stop, take one deep breath, observe what's happening, like, wow, my chest feels tight.
And then you proceed with a choice, not just a gut reaction. That tiny little gap, that's where you take your power back.
So let's circle back to Daniel, our engineer. He didn't quit his job. He built a fortress around his energy. He used software to automatically block off his focus time. He got real comfortable saying no to meetings that weren't essential. And this one is brilliant. He scheduled a 15-minute buffer of just quiet time after any interaction he knew was going to drain him.
And this really brings us to the whole point. Protecting your energy isn't some self-care luxury. It is absolutely essential. The cost of just letting these drains go on and on is way higher than any of us think.
Just look at this number. Let it sink in. Stanford research suggests that chronic exposure to these high-drain relationships can hammer your cognitive performance by up to 25%. Think about what that means. A quarter of your brain power. Just gone. Siphoned off to manage somebody else's chaos?
A year after he put his toolkit in place, Daniel got a promotion. He was back at the gym. And he told his therapist this, which I think is just perfect. The solution wasn't about trying to generate more energy. It was about plugging the leaks.
So, how do we start? With a really simple energy audit. Think of your energy like a bank account. Every single conversation, every person you interact with is either a withdrawal or a deposit. So who, in your life, is consistently making withdrawals? And who actually leaves you feeling energized? You have to be brutally honest with yourself here.
In the end, it really all comes down to this one simple, powerful question. Your energy is your most valuable finite resource. It's the fuel you need to build the life you actually want. So ask yourself, who in my life leaves me feeling more alive, and who leaves me less? The answer might just change everything for you.